And welcome to yet more Star Trek Discovery news and updates. And we're back on San Diego Comic-Con, the props and costumes. So much revealed, so much to talk about. But we sort of hinted this in another video. Knives. It was part of another costume, but we thought it deserved enough of a look. Because maybe they're more accurate or less accurate than we thought. But Stuart, what are we looking at today? And yes, I threw this at you because you get to pronounce it.
Oh, you. The Klingon...
Oh, you sound like Gelf from Red Dwarf. Or
I don't know how to
Mars
pronounce it.
Attacks. You're Mars Attack alien, they're Klingons.
It's the traditional Klingon dagger that we've seen for 50 years. Well, not 50 years,
Well, no.
for maybe 30 years.
Since Star Trek 3. The classic.
Yeah.
And here's a picture of that knife. And here's back to picture number 1, which is the new knife. But it's a bit clearer to see in the second picture. Well, they're a little bit different knives. I guess one maybe is more finished than the other one. I think one is in the mannequin, one's a full scale version. Okay, so yeah, clearly similar. But what are your thoughts? I mean, this is an iconic-y, classic-y Klingon weapon. What do you think about this version?
I love it. I mean, all knives have variations on themselves. There's a standard issue, for everyday kind of use kind of knife. And then there's more ceremonial knives that have engravings on the blade and a whole bunch of fancy stuff. And that's definitely what we're seeing here. And I'm actually very impressed with the way this looks. I want one of these because they're very fancy. So it's even got Klingon writing on the blade, and it's obviously some kind of ceremonial thing, which goes along with the torchbearer armor. So, I mean, I don't think all the Klingons at the time will be using these. I think it's very much a ceremonial thing associated with that armor specifically. So,
yeah, I mean, it's sort of, to be fair, as with budget, this puts to shame the workhorse knife of the Klingon fleet, it being just literally a blade. But you can sort of consider the classic blade like what's that type of knife that you put into the end of a rifle?
a bayonet.
Yeah, it's like a simple bait. It's just designed to be the knife. Every single person has one, as you said. But this one is obviously ceremonial. I mean, the detail is absolutely exquisite. And still functional, still deadly, still dangerous. And if you go picture 3, you can see same functionality. It retracts back in, goes open.
And I wondered that because I had seen a few pictures from San Diego Comic-Con, or I didn't see it folded in. I'm like, oh, I hope they do. But there you go. There it is right there. So,
and it works in both configurations. It's pretty. It's very pretty.
It is. It's even got like a groove in the middle, which is commonly referred to as a blood groove, but makes pulling it out of the body easier because there's no suction. It's functionality.
There's been thought put in. Yeah, I mean, as in terms of an actual stabbing weapon, I mean, the jagged nature of that blade is absolutely devastating. I mean, that you can actually, do bottle open. You can, you can do a whole range of functionality with this. You can do some rope. You can use it as a. I mean, it's going to be sharp.
Open up your Klingon beer and your bottles of blood wine with it.
Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, does it look more deadly than the conventional one?
I would say no. I mean, they're both the same deadliness. I mean, you get stabbed with it, you're pretty much screwed. So
that's true.
The other one is very, very simplified, very much utilitarian, and something that would be good. It's rough and rugged. It's good for in the field. You wouldn't want a ceremonial dagger necessarily. So
the amount of things that you can catch. I mean, when this is it's a coiled up configuration. I mean, there's so many grooves that you can just catch on something, and you've seen how many things these Klingon, these special people have. Things to catch just whatever's on. I mean, these things are not military grade troop people. These are, I'm a general at the back of my army. If I need to stab the one guy that gets to the lines, I got the knife. And boy, is it sexy, but it's not, I'm not the first into battle. If there's some greater plan to this whole Klingon plan, then I can imagine the leaders won't be those that first into the trenches. They would need to stay alive to keep the bigger plan. I mean, Kalis is the sort of guy that would just jump in and start stabbing people, but he's also carelessly undying. That kind of helps.
Yeah. Plus, didn't he make his batleth out of a strand of his hair that he dipped in some lava and
Maylor.
Yeah, he's a very creative individual. That guy.
great legend of Kalas. I will say, absolutely brilliant legend.
Yeah.
But there's another knife. It's from DS9. It's a ritual knife. I specifically found this because if you look at how the blade is done, I mean, it's very, very similar in terms of how the amount. I mean, it's not obviously identical, but the idea of the grooves, the cutouts, even the handle. I mean, this is a lot closer. And in terms of a basic knife versus a ceremonial knife, I mean, you can see parallels. I think. What do you think?
Yeah, I would 100% agree with that. This one's more a little bit smaller, obviously, blade-wise, but different purpose, different, but yeah, you can see a lot of similarities with the way the blade is shaped and the intric.
Yeah, this is. Yeah. Hey, thank you. Yeah, it's clearly they've not gone for that everyday knife. They've gone for this specialist knife, and I think they've done their homework with this one. And that's just this picture I've got showing you this is an Enterprise era knife, the classic one. Show you this design is also around. It's been around since that age of Enterprise. So this design is hundreds and hundreds of years old. And how many times do you reinvent the knife? But just this knife is also still a standard in the military. We can assume still at the time, given that it was a standard in TNG, standard in Voyager, standard in it's probably standard the entire time. Not that any knife should be standard for 400 years, but hey, maybe it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, and this I believe was 3D printed, some of it, and crafted a little bit. I mean, it's actually a lot of it's actual metal, hollow techniques used. I mean, it looks deadly. Just get a picture 3. I mean, we've talked to a famous prop maker, Ken Palco, about some of his stuff, and we'll talk to him more later on. Put the littlest details. I mean, each of these little grooves. I mean, it's just. It's time. I mean, I'm assuming this is his primary weapon, the torchbearer. I know he has that big sort of axe thing, but I'm assuming that he loses that, has his 2 swords, knives, and he uses them double wielding, and that's his. That's at least a minute of screen time because the detail in these things surely deserves some close-ups.
I hope so as well. I hope they do get used because they look fantastic. So, and it's ceremonial, distinctive to the torchbearer armor. So I don't think we're going to see it again in the series. Necessarily, unless the torchbearer is an ongoing thing, which is a possibility, I guess.
Yeah, why not?
But yeah, I simply love this. I want a version of this to hang on my wall because this is awesome. I collect knives and swords and stuff, so I would love to have this as well. So.
It is a strange thing though because it doesn't shout Klingon. But how can a knife scream Klingon? The fact they've kept a consistent style is enough. It is. You could. The point being, you could take this, as a knife show, and no one would guess it was Klingon or Star Trek. They'd appreciate the design as a design. Then you can say, "Oh, it's a Klingon knife like this," and like, "Oh, okay, cool." Yeah. It's got that universal appeal.
Yeah, it looks very much like some of the fantasy blades and fantasy swords that they have, which I can't remember the artist's name, but Vallejo, I think it is. He draws up some fantastic fantasy art, and they turned those pictures that he does into actual blades, which I actually have a few. And yeah, they're very intricate and very detailed, and something that they're called fantasy blades. But yeah, if you put this beside a bunch of other ones at a knife show, and even with Trekkies there, they might not necessarily pick it out as a reimagining of a Klingon blade. But then you put it beside one of the actual Klingon blades, and you're like, obviously it's a Klingon blade restyled, So yeah, I think they did a fantastic job.
And I will say one little subtle thing, like that handle does not look comfortable at all, but I think it's only meant to be used when it's in the suit, so therefore it's gloves doesn't need to be comfortable, has to have a lot of grip.
Well, yeah, and it probably looks a lot more uncomfortable than it actually is. Once you actually hold that in your hand, I'm sure it's very comfortable, even with the texturing on it. It would prevent it from slipping and stuff. Trust me. Sometimes they look really uncomfortable, but they're not. Sometimes they're designed specifically to not slip. So
the Cardassian phaser rifle was surprisingly not uncomfortable. Yeah. So
that's true.
I will buy that. So yeah, there you go, guys. A quick look at a wonderful piece that went along with the suit, but it was like, oh, we recognise that, and we always thought it was worth talking about. Things like this, and hopefully we can get these Klingon letters translated. I mean, I'm sure someone has done it already, but we're filming this, quite soon after the event, so we're not there yet. But hopefully, follow-up videos and such. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. A little look at another piece of Klingon tech. There's so much more to look at in this full Discovery week, so tune in every day for a lot of stuff. And we've been working pretty hard, Stu, haven't we?
Oh, we've been trying, yes. Yesterday was rough. Today we just started. This is our first one.
But it'll probably be like video number.
Oh, it'll be
7,
released down the
you know.
road. I'm just saying for today's filming, this is the first one, so yay.
Aye.
Anyway, yeah, we've been busy. We want to bring you guys all this stuff, and we loved looking at it. And we like we said all along, when we look at these videos, we glean new things out of it from ourselves that we didn't initially see when we start discussing it. So, love doing these for you guys. We learn a lot ourselves. So
Absolutely.
look forward to many more. So until then, guys, I'm Captain Foley,
I am Connor Cousins.
and we'll see you guys later. Bye bye.
Bye, guys.